What is up everyone, Parox here, and today I have another one of the strategy videos. And these types of videos are going to focus less on kind of what I'm actually doing. They might not be super epic carries or like having a crap ton of damage dealt, but they're going to focus more on the strategy and what I was really thinking and communicating with my platoon mates during this game. So I'm here on highway in my 50B, Nez is in his bat chat, and Flak is playing in the E3, and we're all going to head to the city, mainly because this side has a real disadvantage in the field. I feel like if you go out in the field, you're kind of trapped there. You can't really run away so easily as you can if you spawn over on the west. And that's because the west has a town that they can retreat through, whereas you don't. You just have an open field that anything can really spot you running back to the base. So I like to steer away from the field as much as possible and always go city, really no matter what tank I'm in. So I'm going to start off by taking a pretty forward position here. I don't like to go down the zero line because you're kind of limited to where you can shoot at, and it takes a little longer to relocate. So I'm going to head up here, wait for Nez to get up here in his bat chat, and just take a peek around this corner. Tanks will usually poke out there to try to get shots on things on the very east of the map, that very eastern road. So I'm going to sit here for a little bit, but notice what's happening on the 1-2 line. Our team up there is getting completely overrun, and we're going to need to head back soon. And the fact that I don't really see anything over here around this corner kind of hints to me that there's not really going to be anything in the city. They also have one heavy tank, a T-57 heavy, and that tank isn't really even a heavy. It's more of like a slow medium. So since I see that everything is pretty much up on the north, I'm going to push up here and try to clean out whatever could remain in the city. Because what I like to do is, if one flank's getting overrun, I'm not going to necessarily go over and help that flank, because why do I want to go over there and die also? I want to try to finish up the flank that I'm working on and then go back to help. That way, let me think here. Alright, so if I leave a flank to go help a losing flank, most likely that flank's going to fall anyway. And as soon as I leave the flank that I'm on, that flank could fall because I'm no longer there. So I really like to stay on the flank that I'm on until I know that it is clear, and then I can go back. Or I like to stay there and clean it up. That way I won't have any enemies kind of pushing back behind us when we're trying to deal with the other flank. Alright, so now that the city is pretty clean, there's just a Jagdpanzer over there. I'm not too worried about him because he's going to take forever getting up that hill along the J line. So I'm going to go up here, kind of sit on this perch along with Nez, and try to just get some resets off the guys in the cap. I'm not going to completely YOLO into them because that's a really bad idea at this point. There's still the 3 tanks that haven't been respotted up on the 1 line. Now I do see that bat chat YOLOing. I'm going to try to relocate to get some shots on him, but he's getting ripped apart now by those 140s. So there's nothing really for me to do. I'm still going to head over there because I think that maybe his friends are pushing up into the cap circle more. I have no idea how that penned, but oh well. Alright, so now we're getting into a tricky situation here. The 1-2-1 is pushing up onto us more. So now he's probably going to keep us spotted, and that means the Artie is going to have us lit to shoot at all the time. So we have to be more careful and keep moving around. And that's another thing you want to look out for in these end game situations. The more of your team that dies, and you're still alive, the more likely you are to get shot at by Artie, since Artie has less of a choice. I went around there. It's kind of overkill that 1-2-1 got ammo racked, but no big deal. I'm going to put back in some AP shells, and things have kind of quieted down a little bit. I think their team realized that they're just getting wrecked as they try to push up into our base, so they're kind of being a little passive. And when you're on the defense like this, you don't generally want to be too passive. You want to be more aggressive. That way you can take out their tanks before they all have a chance to cluster up and just fall in on you at once. So I'm going to move over here with this 140, just in case those two tanks decide to push him, and kind of see what I can see. Now I think I'm going to go up here and try to take these guys out, but I decide against it since that 140 is getting hammered pretty bad. I wouldn't really have that much support. And you can see the Object 263, the Jagdpanzer, and the 183 are starting to push up into the town. And that really makes me think that we have a limited time up here to kind of dilly-dally around. There's only 3 of them that we know of, and I think we could take them out pretty effectively. And we do have to be quick over here because if their team wins the town, then we're going to be really pressured to do something. And we'd have to attack the base flank or attack the town flank if they pushed in and surrounded us. So I'm going to head back over here. I really should have reloaded a while ago. My general rule is if I'm not going to be shooting anything in half the time it takes to reload my clip, then I'll just reload anyway. So like if I don't shoot anything in like 10, 12 seconds, or I don't think I'm going to be, I'll just do a reload on my clip. Alright, so now this is a really bad situation. This is what I was talking about happening earlier. They have 3 tanks on the base, and another 3 heading up through the town. So this is really bad because if they all pushed on us at the same time, there is no way we'd have enough firepower to deal with all of them. Especially since there's 2 autoloaders left, me and the Batchat. So I'm talking to the Batchat in my platoon. I'm suggesting that we go over here and push this T-22 and 140 and try to take them out. That way we won't have people attacking us from 2 different flanks once the town guys arrive. I do see the T-22. I almost killed him, but unfortunately it bounced. Alright, so I'm waiting for my Batchat friend to get over here so we can push on these guys. I believe I do a reload first, but I just want to push up a little more to see if the 140 is there still. And that is pretty bad. He spots the 57 Heavy, but I spot the T-22. I decide to go in for him. The arty hits me. That kind of sucks. But anyway, I pushed up, finished off the T-22, finished off the 140, tried to get a snapshot off on the 57, because I think he was kind of trying to look over here, and get into this dip to do a reload. So right now they only have 3 tanks left, the 57 Heavy, the 183, and the 263. And I'm kind of scared staying here because I remember earlier that the arty hit me from out in the field. So I wait until the 57 Heavy gets unspotted. That way I know I'm most likely also unspotted. And you can listen to the sound of the shells in the dirt there. It looked like either he was blind firing at us or shooting at the Batchat that was still spotted. So now that we took those guys out, we don't have to worry about this flank anymore. So we're going to head over to the town to try to deal with the 263 and the 183. And hopefully we can take them out before the 57 Heavy arrives. That's always one of your main goals when you're in this endgame situation, is to take out... I like to hunt down whichever tanks will be attacking me first. So in this case, the 263 and the 183 will be here first, and it'll take the 57 Heavy a little while to get here. So ideally, you want to take out the 263 and the 183. That way you have more time to reposition to try to take out the T-57 when he gets here. I'm trying to get some shots in on this 263. Doesn't really work too well, and the arty's starting to hammer me. And remember what I said earlier too, now that there's only 3 of us, well, I have a 1 in 3 chance of getting shot at by the arty, as opposed to a 1 in 15 chance when the game started. Now I am going to keep these 3 shells in my magazine, because I don't really know how close they are. But I'm going to do a quick check here to see. if anyone's close. The 57's right there. I managed to get a snapshot into him that time, and thank God that shell didn't pen my turret and hit me. Now that I see the 57 heavies charging up over here, I know I can't win a 1v1 situation on him. So I'm going to head down here and duck into this little valley. The 183 doesn't appear to be wanting to push on us too hard. He's just kind of hanging out at the bottom of the bridge there. So I'm going to focus on the 57 heavy. He comes around, focuses on the guy that is not a one-shot. Why? I don't know. And then I ammo rack him, so that was kind of lucky because he was about to kill me with his next shot. My original plan / thought here was to go wide, try to snipe the 183, but I don't feel like isolating myself from my rest of my team too much, because if the 183 came over and killed one of them, I might not be there in time to deal damage to the 183 before he reloaded. So since we're all low health, I decided to stick around my guys more. That way, if the 183 charges one of us, the other ones will be there to finish him off. Now I'm going to hang back a little bit here, try to flank him, but I see him start to move, so I pull back and get ready to line up some shots on him. Me and Nez just wrecked that guy there. And now we are going to run for our lives and hide under this bridge, because you just heard 2 arty shells come in there. That's another thing you want to do as well. If you don't know where enemies are and you hear their shells coming in, try to figure out what kind of tank it is and where it's coming from. So obviously these are arty shells because they're giant splashes like that. Just for an example, if you hear like a loud and like deep bassy thump into the ground, that's usually characteristics of a shell from like a Jagdpanzer or a T-30 or something like that, provided you use the stock sounds, the vanilla sounds with the game. And I'm going to stick with Nez a little bit here again, just because if he gets splashed by Arty and then spots the Arty, I'll be close enough to where I can do some damage and probably kill it. Now, we don't want to drive too close to each other because, well, Arty could get a Bombarder medal, and that would kind of suck. That'd be one of the worst ways to lose the game. So we're just going to kind of dilly-dally around here and try to find these Arty. Now, a couple of the key points that I want to highlight again was that if you're looking at fighting on 2 different flanks, like say you're losing the game, you're in the base, and enemies are attacking you from both flanks, try to win the flank that has the faster enemy tanks on it. Because if you push and attack those fast enemy tanks, it's going to take the slower enemies that are on the other flank a longer time to get to you, and then you can just turn around and kill those slower enemies. And it prevents the faster enemy tanks from being able to run away and reposition to get an advantage on you. So the clock is at 1:52, and I know it takes 1 minute and 40 seconds to cap with one person, so I decided to hop on cap here and hide behind this house. This was my initial thought. However, artillery are prone to shooting at typical cover spots in the cap circles. I'm debating it here, and then I finally pull away just to sit into a random spot. Because I've noticed over the years that I've played this that Arty shoots at typical camping / cover locations in the cap circle. So hopefully we don't get splashed here. Oh, see? There it is. Right there was one of the spots. And then another thought I had was I'm going to go and sit over by this Arty splash circle, because Arty usually never fires in the same location twice. And then we're just going to sit here to ride out the game. And here are the end battle results, guys. Nez at the top of the team with 4,000 damage. I got 2,900 and Flak did 2,300. Not an incredibly insane damage game, but the team did quite a lot, more than most teams do. So we didn't really need to pump out that much damage to carry. Although the damage that was dealt was definitely dealt at the right time. And as always, guys, this video is more an explanation of my thought process through this game, and hopefully you will take some of these little tidbits of information that I was thinking in this game and apply that to your own games. Just to name a few highlights in this video, figuring out what tank is shooting at you based on the kind of shell splash and sound that it makes, what flank you should be looking into push whenever you're losing or cornered. I threw some things in there, when you should reload with an auto loader in those kind of end game situations. And then those really specific capping strategies when you're capping against arty and not any real tanks. And that's pretty much it for this video. If you've kind of enjoyed this tactic of me going through explaining my thought process rather than kind of commenting on the gameplay, be sure to hit that like button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.